I've went on a service call, and they told me, they said somebody else was working on it. It had a bad condenser fan motor, and they fixed it and it never worked quite right. It just seems like it's not doing a job. Well, here's what I found happens. First of all, when you replace these condenser fan motors, what is important to know is the voltage, the RPM, which the RPM of this is 1,550. The other thing that is important to know is if it's counterclockwise or clockwise. They actually are marked in the back here, all the numbers, that they're counterclockwise or clockwise. I've seen people put the wrong motor, okay, and the wrong RPM. So it's important to know it's 9 watts, the RPMs, the voltage, and which direction it actually turns. Okay, so it was a no-brainer. They put a counterclockwise instead of a clockwise, and it wasn't pulling air. But then I went on another job and I came across a fan that I looked at it, and the RPMs were right, the wattage was right, the voltage was right, the counterclockwise was right, but it still wasn't pulling air. Well, here's what I found to be the issue. When this thing is working properly, let's put some volts to it here, put some power to it. When this thing is moving in the proper direction, it is actually pushing air. See how the paper is moving quite well with the air? And I'm also drawing my 0.48 amps. So that's about, it's running at design amperage, which it's designed to be 0.55, and it's actually running 0.48. So that's good. But what the problem was here's what I found, that the joker put his fan blade on backwards. Okay, so not only I've seen motors being the wrong motor and the wrong RPMs, but now I've seen where somebody came in and I don't know what they were thinking, they just threw the blade on there. Okay, it's going to go on there and it's going to spin and it looks good, but here's what's going to happen. Okay, let's see how much air movement happens when the blade is on the wrong way. Oh, look at that. The necessary airflow is actually crap. So there you have it. So now what did we found out? We found out that having the proper counterclockwise or clockwise motor with the correct RPMs and amps is important. And not only that, but it's also important to make sure you're putting the fan blade on correctly. Let's say the fan blade is destroyed when you get there, then it's really important to get the right blade and to put it on correctly. Otherwise, you're going to have an issue. So they just slapped it on and left and said, oh, it'll pull temp. And then I get a call and I come in and I fix it. Okay? Now, not only have I seen this, but let's the rotation of your motor. Let's say you got the RPMs right, let's say you got the amps right, let's say you put the blade on right, but the rotation of the motor is going the wrong way. Even though it's the exact motor you bought for the job, it matches your specs to the T, and it's going backwards. I've seen guys just leave it and go away. And all you have to do in three-phase, when you hook it up and it's going in the wrong direction, you can reverse any one of the two leads and it'll go the other direction. It's that simple, and I've seen guys not know that and just leave the job. If you don't test your work, who will? No one will. So basically, you got to remember that a condenser pulls the air in over the coil and out the top. And if it isn't doing that, then you need to not just walk away, you need to figure out what's going on. And just because you matched all the specs doesn't mean that things going to be running properly. You need to make sure you get the blade on right, you need to make sure you have the right blade, and you need to make sure that it's going in the right direction, and reverse 2 of the 3 leads to get it to go in the right direction. Okay? So there you have it. You know, and one more thing, if you got bad bearings in a motor, what you're going to start seeing is a climb in your amps. And you're going to know right there, hey, this thing's running above the recommended amps. So guess what? You know, you're not going to know if that thing's moving 1,550 RPMs. You're going to know because your amp draw is going to go up as the bearings get wore out and there's more friction. The amps are going to go up. So there you have it, troubleshooting condenser fan motors 101.